I'll start off here in regard. So it was good to see Akeem and Akeem Hicks and A-Rob out there today. Both are going to be questionable for Sunday, and then Khalil was not out there today, but he'll be questionable for Sunday as well. Out for Sunday will be J.P. Holtz and Caleb Johnson. And then Coach Furry will miss our game on Sunday due to a COVID protocol, and Chris Jackson is going to step up as wide receiver coach on Sunday in Mike's absence. So obviously we have until tomorrow at 3 to do any flexes, and we're still sorting through all that. We just got done with our red zone day. I thought it was a good practice, and now it's, start to put everything together and get ready for Sunday. So open it up.
Any update on Damien?
No. Yesterday morning, yesterday was, where is he at on here? No updates from him. Nothing updated. Nothing changed. Yeah, that would be the anticipation. Correct. Yep.
Between Furry and Damien, you guys have done such a good job for the first 4 or 5 weeks of not having any COVID concerns. Is there any worry with two guys who've tested positive that you have a problem?
No, I don't think so. I think this is probably, we all go into this just kind of knowing and understanding that sometimes this could happen. Every team, every player, every person. But as it comes up, you deal with it, and just like you went through it last year, it's kind of that next man up mentality. Again, I guess so. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know how all that goes. So.
Coach Furry feeling all right?
What's that?
Coach Furry feeling
Yeah,
all right?
yeah, I guess so.
Wasn't feeling well when he tested.
Who wasn't?
Back in the summer.
Oh yeah. No, I think he's feeling okay.
Rob, was that something that happened in the game?
Yeah.
He finished the game, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he just got a little bit dinged up there, but just trying to be precautionary as well.
We're so used to Khalil Mack
Yeah.
showing up on Sundays regardless of what's going on with his body. What have you learned about him as he's missed practices this year, and is he the kind of guy that can go a week without practicing?
I think so. Yeah, I mean he knows his body better than anybody, and when you get through. I mean, we're heading into week 6 here, and as you saw with our injury report, it gets lengthy, and that's part of the season. Sometimes that's how it goes. But I think the key part to a lengthy injury report is making sure that these guys, that we're being smart the week of practice, and then each guy is independently on their own as far as how they work and what they do. So. Andre's done a great job, Loco, our strength coach, and Jen with the nutrition, all phases, coaches, just trying to make sure we circle these guys, every one of them, to make sure that they're really good on Sunday, and then you kind of reset it and start over again each week.
Based on what Khalil Herbert showed you Sunday, do you feel maybe a little bit more comfortable with him having to shoulder a bigger load this week than maybe you would have a week ago?
I would say yes. Because he kind of, again, last week we didn't know how that was going to go for him, and I thought he did a great job. And then Coach Petrie has done an amazing job at getting these guys ready. And it's not easy, but this entire time from OTAs to training camp till now, he's been awesome. And so I think that he's built these relationships with the guys. He's prepped them. That's a huge part of developing as a coach. And here we are, with the situation we're in for Khalil, gets an opportunity, and now the other guys too, same thing.
Shuffling that Monday to Saturday routine and getting himself in a group. What are some of the things you emphasize with him in the Monday to Saturday routine portion that you want to see him, have locked down?
Yeah. Well, I've been talking to y'all here in regards to the ability of him getting into that routine. When you get up, you step in, as a baseball player does before they hit, as a golfer. So we've been really focusing on that part. Now we're actually, he's got that down on his own. We don't have to remind him every 3 plays. He now has that down. I think building that rapport with his teammates of the timing of specific routes, and then in between practice or in between the periods, going over with those guys and getting that route again, or talking through how he might make a throw. Even the sometimes what we all take for granted is simplicities of a cadence, right? Verbal, or even for that matter, going nonverbal. So all of those little things, I think what happens is he continues to every day gain a little bit more confidence in the procedure. The other part of it too is off the field. watching tape. And I think as he goes through that process with Coach Flip and Coach Laser and those guys, he's able to realize, really the routine of how he watches tape too. Is it by coverage? Is it by front? Is it by blitz, et cetera? So there's so much that goes into it. And that's where week by week, game by game, we want to just see that little bit of that growth in each area.
Matt, the use of a second running back, whether it's Williams with Montgomery or Herbert with Williams, is that a complementary type thing, a wear and tear type of thing? I guess what I'm asking is, or could Herbert carry the whole load himself, or do you need a second back, Null or whoever, just to change the pace?
I'd say, based off the players, whether you hear some people talk about thunder and lightning, you got a power back or you got a quicker back. Every team's a little bit different. Could Khalil shoulder the load and do it? I don't know. I guess we'll see, and if that ever happens, I don't know. I would think he could. But at the same point in time, you also you got to make sure that you have depth because it is a physical game. And I think that's where these players that come in that are behind them, they got to be prepared. And it's kind of like last week, right? You say a guy like Damian Williams, what's the most carries he's ever had in an NFL game? And then you look at, okay, well, they had 18 and 16 respectively. So I think it helps the guys so they're fresh every rep. Some guys get beat down, and you're starting to kind of see that in the league.
Not that they're interchangeable, but you've obviously had success with 3 different running backs now. And the last 2 weeks, you've won being more of a run-based team. When you're down to 3rd, 4th, 5th string, how difficult is it to stay with that run, not run first, but that kind of run-based offense?
Sure. When you start going through and creating an identity, you understand that these players, they all have their own strengths and weaknesses. So probably the thing that we need to do as coaches is make sure that we're using their strengths in whatever that is, whether it's a type of scheme in the run game, whether it's a protection in the pass game, just to make it a little bit easier. You have a younger guy like a rookie like Khalil. You have a guy that has not seen as many defenses as somebody like David that has, whether it's the vision that when you get a handoff and how you read the 3-tech on whether you cut in or break outside, or if it's a blitz that a Mike linebacker comes up in the A gap versus coming off the D gap. So when you start seeing that and then all the other stuff, we just have to temper with a younger guy how much volume of that kind of stuff we put on him so that he doesn't get tricked.
When you evaluate guys before the draft, do you have a sense of how they react in big moments? And with Fields, what have you learned about that part of him since you actually got your hands on him?
Well, in that area, you talk to the coaches that they play for. That and for me, having the luxury to know Coach Day and how he handles those big moments, and then you listen to other people. Ryan and all his personnel guys, they do a great job of really digging in and finding that kind of stuff, the intangibles. You see it on tape. You can see it when you watch a game on TV, and then to be able to see it live and have it firsthand and see how he handles situations. There's a calm for all of us. And I think the fact that he's that way, that's a strength that not everybody has. And when you play in front of over 100,000 people at your home games, it certainly helps you. And when you're in these moments here in the NFL, you're able to use that to your advantage.
Is there a small example of something you've seen live in the last couple of weeks in him that reassures you about him?
You can easily go to the Cleveland game, how he handled himself in that time, and then I could go to the next game, which I mentioned to y'all that when he threw the pick on the dropper in the Cincy game, when he dropped back in the cover 0 and he threw the pick, we weren't sure how he was going to respond to that, and he really, he almost had not a chuckle, but he had a little bit of a grin that he's going to come back out here and let's go do it again. Let's go make a play now. It is what it is. And I like that about him.
Do you think, was the concern that he was going to come off and throw his helmet, or that he was going to come off and be down? Just
Let that play affect the next play. And it didn't, and that's kind of what, sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. And in that moment, it can be easy for probably 90% of people to let it affect you the next play. And he's part of that 10%, in my opinion. I think he does a great job with that. It's natural.
In the 15 days between Cleveland, what happened in Cleveland, and then obviously the game Sunday in Las Vegas, you guys went through a lot. There was a lot of emotional stuff. There was a lot of ins and outs. In your role as a head coach, what have you learned about finding ways to regenerate and sustain energy when you've probably used a lot of energy during
Yeah.
a span like that?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and I think probably the biggest thing is understanding the pulse of your team. In that moment after Cleveland, that was a tough moment, right? That was a low moment to where it's okay. We're going to get challenged now, and have we been through this before? We have. Now, how do we do it? Because every year's a little bit different, and that you saw what we talked to you about was that we communicated with the players, we talked to them, we came together. And then we said, okay, now we got to go do it. And in that time, I feel like we've learned a lot. Number one, in different areas, X's and O's wise, relationship wise, we're all growing. You know, we had going through and naming Justin the starting quarterback is one part of it. Then you have the defense going through trying to figure out. It's early in the year, so you're trying to figure out as a team who are you. You do all that. You're able to win a few games complementary in 3 phases, it starts to feel a lot better. But now what you need to do is now you got to make sure, okay, two good wins, right? Now you got to make sure that you don't get complacent, and the focus now is being able to go back out there and do it again. It's hitting that reset button. Sometimes that's the hardest ones,
In terms of refueling, just sort of mentally and
Yeah.
emotionally refueling when you've been, coming
Totally.
Sunday, I'd imagine a lot of guys were spent.
Well, and another great point. So we communicate with our support staff mentally where they at, physically where they at. So then it's my job as the leader to make sure that they're taken care of because of what they did on Sunday. We got to take care of them during the week. And this week we did some of that because we have to. There's no way around it, and that's okay. And I think when they see that and they feel that, it refuels them for Sunday. Then you got to do it again. And then you have moving parts with whether it's a guy's health or whatever it is. We have to be able to adjust as coaches. But now the other part is then on game day, it's up to the players. They got to now it's okay. We're refueled. Now we go again for 3 more hours.
Go back to the identity question of the offensive line. I'm curious, what's Jason Peters' his role in that, especially with the physicality? It seems like every game he's knocking somebody over hard.
Yeah, he has a big part of that, and Adam, I think that when he got here, really 24 to 48 hours of being here, you could feel his veteran leadership, and I was actually it was really neat to see in the fact of just how he took these guys. I mean, because he's played a lot of snaps, and we got some young guys on there. We got some guys like Cody White here that have been here doing it a while. You have a good mix, but he came in and just fit in right away. And those guys gravitate to him because you can tell he's an authentic, real leader. So he does it. He takes care of his body. He's really cerebral. He's super smart. Understands seeing a bunch of different techniques from. But then he's also back there with Juan and Donnie. He's coaching these guys when he's not in there. He's coaching these guys on techniques. Instantly, the guys feel that, and then anything he says, they follow. And he was able himself to be able to come out here at 39 years old, week 1, and do what he did, and continue to get to this point right now. That's a big part of that offensive line, and then now the rest of the guys feed off of that, and you feel it. And not just the O linemen, but other guys too. They go to him because he's been there, done that, and I just love his mentality.
When he pancakes a guy, how does take us into that room and how you're feeling, how they're feeling?
Well, we all feel good about it because he is a massive individual, was super strong. So when you see these plays where he's just washing down a defensive end and just creating a hole for the running backs, they appreciate that and they see it. And JP is a guy where he just he doesn't say a whole lot when it goes on. He doesn't want a lot of credit. He just wants to do it by his actions, and we've been having that, and it's. When one guy does it, another guy wants to do it. Then a third wants to do it. Then a fourth. And then you're saying, well, I can't be the only one, so I got to do it. Before you know it, you got everybody doing it. And then it's contagious. It goes to the tight ends. It goes to the wide receivers. The running backs appreciate it. And it's fun.
Matt, I think everybody knows what the record is the last 5, 6, 7 years with the Packers. It's almost as if, in addition to playing well, guys might need some kind of mental breakthrough, some kind of way to believe. How do you create that?
Well, we have some ways that each week we have ways to kind of tap into them. And again, there is a balance though of sometimes guys doing it of coaches or position coaches, head coaches, et cetera, our own teammates, players back and forth, and making it too big of a moment to where you don't play like you're supposed to. So, we talk through, we really start focusing through the week on what your role is and what your responsibility is within the play, and schematically what we want to do. And then you kind of, as the rest of the week goes on, you get closer and closer, you might juice it up a little bit to try to get them really going. Because we always talk about don't peak too soon, right? They hear me say that all the time, and that's real. Like, wait until you get to Sunday. When you get to Sunday, then let's peak. So the emotion kind of takes care of itself when we're in Soldier Field and the fans are rocking, and you look over there and you see that opponent. It's our job now to play hard, play fast, but play smart.
But how do you make sure they're not starting like one step behind just because it's the Packers?
Well, that's the prep throughout the week, really, and then you get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They got to make sure that they know their role, what they're doing, so that on Sunday, on game day, they can just play fast, and all the other stuff will take care of itself. It's natural, but and then go make plays, because as we know, when you make plays and you do well, there's energy, and that's the key there.
Going back to Dan's question about refueling, you mentioned you lean on your support staff for what they need mentally, physically, and then you kind of work from that. What does that look like? Is that like extra treatment physically, or like maybe special stuff like meditation or yoga? Like, how are you helping
With the players? Yeah, that's our support staff handles all that. They're all different. Some players are, they have some things they like that me and you might not like, so it's that part's different. One simple one, right, is sleep. Pretty simple, right? I'm not a big crazy. I did go. I was health and phys ed. I got my degree in that. But I know one thing: sleep helps, recover. So that's an easy one. Nutrition, which Jen does a phenomenal job getting these players right with their nutrition. So like some of the simplicities. Then as they get into the end of the week here, throughout the week, is we always talk about investing in your body. So these college players too, these rookies, they don't play as many games, so they got to really be able to take it the whole way through. But massages. Whatever it is for your mental health, all of that goes hand in hand. And the more you can do with that, the better you are. And it's a long season.
Do you sleep?
No, not really, but I need to. Should have known that was coming.